I mean, it's so simple. We really can't define it with one word. The good news is it's already here, appearing as everything. This face, your face, these words, those words. This really isn't separate. It appears that way, though. But this is freedom. This is unconditional love. This is God. This is whatever word you want to put on it, appearing as this, the ordinary, the mundane, or what even seems special or exquisite. Everything from the highest high to the lowest low is this mystery. Now, the misconception is, I'm not it. I know that I'm not it. I know that earth is separate from heaven. I know that paradise is something I have to work towards. I know that divinity, or whatever this word is, like awareness or presence, is something I have to attain. No, there is only presence, you could say. There is only that, appearing as this. So nothing you do in time can bring you closer to this. Time is not real. It is an optical illusion. It's very convincing. And we're not denying the appearance of time. We're not denying form. We're not denying the appearance of evolution. What we are saying is already that is freedom. That is unconditional love. And that is paradise pretending. Mm-hmm. And so there is no finish line to get to unless you're actually running a marathon. Go you, go for it. But this is already home. It's that simple. It's as simple as breath. It's as simple as the batting of the eyelashes. You can't get closer to it. Life only wants to be this. Life only wants to be you. That's why it's appearing. And so today we can dance around this. We can talk about this. Questions aren't needed, but if they arise, they too belong, because the questioner is oneness as well. The answer is oneness as well. So in essence, this is a reflection. You're hearing yourself speak. Yeah. So we can dance or we can sit. We'll just see what happens, but please feel free to unmute yourself or ask a question in the chat and we'll play ping pong. Okay. But you're here, you're home. Hey, Quinn.
Hey, can you hear me?
Totally. Hi.
How's it going?
It's going. Yeah.
There's an arising here that understands that the I does not exist, that walking is walking, talking is talking, and no one's doing that. But I struggle sometimes. I find myself reminding myself of that a lot, that you're just walking, or you're just talking, you're not doing it, it's just happening. And it almost feels like it's the ego's attempt to still find its way back. Can you speak? It's not wrong or right. I know that. It's just
of course not.
happening.
Of course not. Yeah, that too is unconditional love. It's oneness, but you can say sometimes that appears. That kind of arose here too as a way of when beliefs were falling away. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you could say that even becomes more simple. That it's one with what is. No need to have the mantra of it's just walking. Those types of mantras seem to dissolve or loosen their grip. Or let's say if it does appear, like the commentator, it's just not interesting, so to speak. It's just kind of blown away. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you could say that there's the mechanism of micromanagement. It's that commentator. It's because it feels like it's in control. I'm the one that's making the body walk. I'm the one that's making the body talk. And all we're saying here is that's a mystery how all of this is appearing to be and flowing. Yeah. But yeah, it's just coming out of a belief. That's all. So what though? That can seem to dissolve or not. Okay. But you're not choosing it though. That's
right. Yeah. So if I notice it arising, just be with it. Just let.
Well, what will happen is what will happen. They'll either be trying to be with it or not. But you could say that stickiness of like, do I need to be with it or whatever? It's literally just what's arising. You know, the body is like a thought form as well. This here is like another thought form as well. We're not controlling it. It's just spontaneity. But all I can confirm or what I can share is what it seems to stop arising here is that kind of just the commentator and life coach loosens its grip because there really is no control. And yay. And there is only being. So be with it or not be with it. We're kind of screwed. There is only being. So, you know,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unmute. Hi, Anna.
Hey.
It's lovely to be with you here today.
Hi. Nice to see you. Yeah.
Thank you. The
Yeah.
same here. Nice to see you.
Mhm.
I have to say that I have been on this spiritual path for many years, since 1987.
Oh.
And it's been a long journey, yes.
Mhm.
And I was blown away by your authenticity. And I resonated so powerfully, with your message.
Mhm.
So I'm really grateful that you are here and that you are making yourself available for this call
Well,
and
thank you. Yeah.
delivering the message as well.
Mhm.
Your message very much tells me it's a phrase that's saying Saint Francis of Assisi used to say, the place you are looking for is the place you are, what is this phrase? The place you are looking for is the place you are looking from.
Yeah. What you're looking for is what's already looking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Which is it's exactly what you're saying, isn't it?
Oh,
That's
amen.
nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You're it.
So
Yeah.
this is beautiful because it's a confirmation for me of really, I really relinquished the seeker and found, the naturalness of it all.
Yeah.
Sort
Yeah.
of, you know.
Yeah.
I do have a question because in
Go for it.
non-duality circles there is a lot of talk about there is no doer.
Mm. Mm.
Could you expand a little bit, please?
Yes. So it is a paradox. So everything I'm sharing is only going to make sense intuitively. So to that which is already awake. So obviously doing appears. Here we are having a conversation. All I'm suggesting is there's no one inside this body controlling it. It's an absolute mystery how these two faces are communicating and how the words appear and how it's a seamless conversation, even if it doesn't seem seamless, like a bump. But we're not denying doing or the appearance of evolution or work. Chopping wood and carrying water is this whole message. There is no shift. There won't be an event. Already what's appearing, from folding laundry to cooking dinner to changing the diaper, is beingness. Yeah. And so the misconception is there's being, and then there's this thing called ego or mind who gets in there sometimes and does some stuff, right? And all we're saying here is there's only the aliveness of life. There is only freedom, only beingness appearing as what we call these earthy, human, mundane things. Yes. And so what seems to drop are these beliefs or commentating, right? Which is just a belief that says, I'm doing that. Oh, I did that wrong. I should have done it this way. Right. And then it's like this fork in the road where guilt, shame, and insecurity come in because I did this. And it was either right or it was wrong based on the culture or the belief system of the character. And that's the whole kind of game we play in of duality. Right. But if there is no other, there is no time. And all of this, everybody here, including the technology and the walls, is a seamless representation of the mystery. Who do we point the finger to say you're in control? Who's doing that? But again, too, when we live in this dualistic dream, this is when we leash each other. We prison each other with our beliefs of responsibility, morality, ethics, and we try to box and compartmentalize each other. All of that can seem to blow up in an instant or seeming progression because there is no one. Similar to a dream at night. But that does not mean the chopping the wood and the carrying water does not go on. It just goes on for no one. So it's a seamless, let's say, direct experience. I don't like that word so much, but there's no longer this idea of you and the divine or you and oneness. There is only oneness appearing as you and all of those beautiful flavors.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's you know, it's dropping. You know, my understanding of what you explained now is the sense of doership, you know, authorship, kind of is blown to the window, really, because there is no need for that.
Right. But then there could be an appearance of authorship. Maybe you write a book or make a beautiful calendar and your name is on it. You see, nothing is going to change. And that's what's so, you could say, mind-boggling, is that liberation is appearing as a person with its quirks and you know, talents and roles.
Yeah.
It's just what seems to dwindle is the attachment that that role will fulfill me.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of everything belongs.
Oh, totally. Totally. Absolutely. It's an inclusion, not exclusiveness.
Yeah.
You see? And that's the real kicker for the brain, because the brain is cut into two hemispheres and it can only operate in groups and out groups, black and white, heaven and hell, me and other. So I'm not talking to the noggin here, you could say. That which is already awake, which is everything. You are awake. You never went to sleep.
And for me, that was the beauty of connecting to with you, because I felt like I was listening to what you were saying, no longer with the mind, but at the heart level.
Sure. Yeah. It's like listening to music. It doesn't need to be jotted down or remembered or contemplated. It just whoosh, whoosh. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, thank you so much. You take care now. Okay. Good to talk to you. Yeah.
Hi, Anna. Dave, can you hear me? Yeah?
Yeah, I hear you.
I thought I'd jump in here because you were just speaking to Eliana, who's in Spain. I'm in near London. And Eliana was the one who introduced me to you, sort of, you know.
Cool.
Only a few weeks ago. So I thought it was kind of appropriate to jump in now. But just as a quick bio of me, spiritual bio, I started off with a Buddhist group about 10 years ago. So I started quite late in life on anything spiritual. And one Buddhist teacher really was teaching non-duality. I think she got thrown out of the Buddhist group in the end because she wasn't towing the party line. But it really hit the spot for me. And from there, I found Rupert Spira, who you may know, who was very helpful to me because I've been a skeptical scientist in my life, and for most of my life, and there were a lot of questions that I needed answers for, and he's got a very analytical approach, and he gave me all the answers that I needed. And although I don't even remember what the answers were or even what the questions were now, I find myself in a situation where I no longer have any questions. And then, so when Eliana introduced me to your YouTube videos, it just hit the spot for me. It's just like, this is what I need at this point. I just need that direct approach. So that's been wonderful. So just thought I'd say that.
Thank you. Yeah, beautiful.
And then I thought I'd share a metaphor that came to me a little while ago, and was probably relevant to what Eliana was talking about, control. And it seems to me like life is like a roller coaster. We get on a roller coaster when we're born, and there's lots of ups and downs, and there's great bits and difficult bits and fearful bits, and we never really know what's going to happen. Is there a corner coming up? Is there a drop? Or what? Loop to loop. And we kind of have a choice in that we can go with it and enjoy it for what it is, with all its uncertainty and unpredictability, and enjoy that as part of our life. Or we can shut our eyes and just wait for it to be over, because it's frightening. And that's an important choice to make, if we indeed can make any choices. But in my metaphor, the people who have made the roller coaster have thoughtfully put in front of each person in their car a steering wheel.
Mhm.
And as it happens, that steering wheel is not connected to anything, but it gives you a great feeling of comfort to think that you have some kind of control over this life that you're leading, even though actually you haven't got any control whatsoever. But it feels like you have, and that's, I don't know, that metaphor sort of came to me. I thought it might be relevant here. So
Yeah, well, you could say the feel like I have control is what dwindles, because that feel
Yeah.
like is very alluring, and that's when these like practices are very attractive. It's just living in a hamster wheel. Yeah, I get it though. I get it. I get what you're trying to describe. And choice does appear, obviously. You go to a restaurant, you're going to be asked what to eat, right? Yeah, it appears. It's an appearance like a dream at night. And that's the greatest pointing, because in a dream, there's a seamlessness. It's all one energy appearing. And when one comes to, it's recognized, oh, it was real and yet simultaneously unreal.
Mm.
It seemed like I had a choice in that dream. Mm. Yeah, seems like. So it's very like it's an optical illusion. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it don't matter. I mean, it's all freedom. So choice or no choice, or playing in the game of I'm the chooser. It's all play, and that's beautiful. So, there's nothing wrong with that. See, we can have a misconception too, or an idea that, oh, when I get to this space of no choice, or I see that there's actually no chooser, then that's better. But really, there is no better or worse. It's all just lifing.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Lovely.
Beautiful.
I happen to be in the restaurant of my own home, so I'm going.
Oh, yummy!
I'm going to choose to eat my dinner now in front of
Enjoy.
everyone.
Enjoy. Yeah, dive in.
Thank you, Anna.
Yeah, thank you, Dave.
Hi, Anna.
Hi.
Lovely to meet you.
Yeah, you too. Let me try to find you. I just found myself. That was weird. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
To find you. Do you have there you are. Hi.
Okay. Yeah. Hi. Duality is something that I think about a lot. I sort of see it more as a sliding of oneness, 100% ego on the one side, and then it can go down to 100% just beingness on the other side, and that the state of enlightenment is actually very flux and dynamic, depending on
what
who's
if
in control.
Enlightenment wasn't even a state, and what if there's no sides? What if all of that is just a mere description of what you think?
Well, there's times where I feel free inside, and there are times where I don't. And and I'm a little bit of a I think that the mind is a bit of a devil. I'll tell you, if I didn't have to spend so much of my life going around in circles of despair and anger and all that, I wouldn't voluntarily do it. But it's something that just like clings back on and goes around, and I have to work not so hard on eschewing that, but more just on letting it go and being aware of the other side. But I'm saying that it's a sliding scale, so that it's either, for me, it can be 100% ego, in which case I have a very low state of awareness because I'm completely gripped in the reality of now, to the point of, I'm not going to say 100% like, but much more enlightened state where that's all okay. I am just here. I'm just feeling it, and it's lovely.
Oh, well, it's not a state, and freedom's not a feeling. It's all feelings. So sadness can appear, frustration, anger, illness, gratitude, romance, bliss, anything can appear. Nothing's off limits here. So we're not talking about a state, because states have to be managed. That's where practices come in. States are states of consciousness. Consciousness is an illusion. There is no personal consciousness.
It's just a construct.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what we're talking about here is not a construct, but does appear as those things. But a constructs are just building on things. This here it's already. It doesn't need the construct. It doesn't need it doesn't need anything really.
No, it doesn't. But I'm just saying, as me in this body of mine,
Yeah.
gripped by this brain of mine and this faux ego, or whatever you want to call it, that sees the world and has patterns built into it. And I recognize I can be aware of that. And as soon as I'm aware of that level, it can dissipate. What I'm saying is 100% ego at times, and I'm completely engulfed in the ego and in the reality of what is here now. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
well, what is here now is what you're calling an ego or a body, but that's oneness, that's unconditional love, and that's already free. There's no such thing as enlightenment. Enlightenment is for the sense of separation, because it thinks that it's going to go from being a schmuck to being something called light. But already you are the light, pretending.
no, I
Yeah,
may be
there
the
really is
light. You're
no
saying
ego.
I'm
There
the
really is
light.
no
You're
brain
saying,
either. Yeah, there is none of those things. What you're sharing with me is what you think you know. Like, I have a brain, I have an ego, I have these things and sides. There is no sides. There is no hurdle. What we're talking about is absolutely seamless and uncaused. And what you are sharing with me seems like glimpses where maybe the seeking drops and you're calling that awareness or whatever. There's no choice in that. No one chose that. It just spontaneously dropped, like when an apple falls from a tree. No one's doing it. There's no control.
yeah, I don't know. It's okay. It's your thing. But I mean, just for me, when I get to a higher place of awareness, then I can be aware of the ego machinations that I myself am doing, and I can let it go.
I
But I
think we're
need that
talking about
awareness to
two
let it
totally
go.
different things, brother. What you're speaking
Okay.
about is a paradigm of spirituality and therapy. And what we're really suggesting here is there's no ego or mind. Those are all things we learned. Really, liberation is the recognition that everything we think we know is a hand-me-down. You were told ego. You didn't come into the world like a baby going, I've got an ego and a mind. We learn those things. This here, what we're speaking about, cannot be learned because it's timeless. It's uncaused. It's ageless. It's genderless. It's mindless. But I do get the heaviness of those stories. We're taught those things, though. That's why this can't be taught. It is already.
Okay, I'll leave with that. Yeah, I have my moments, and my God, would I ever just love to be free of my little self, recognize that it's a construct, but it's weird because if I don't give enough thought to or awareness to what I am, that ego will just go places and take me away from here and put me into various places. Some of them
Well,
nice,
there
but a
is no
lot of them
you.
not.
There is no you. So who's the one being dragged around when there is no other? There's no you. There's no mind. No one's being dragged around. That's the epitome of duality, what you're sharing, or rather the game of hell, I'd rather say. There's no one being dragged. It can seem that way when we have stories, beliefs, and dogmas that there's me and something else called awareness. There's me, something else called presence. Yeah. I'm just not sure what you're speaking about.
Well, yeah, so we're definitely on different ways of
Totally.
you know,
Yeah.
what you're seeing. I'm not divining totally what it is that you are. It's a mind state that you have, a mind beingness, and not a mind, just a beingness. But of course, you can't be without your mind here, or else you're not here. If you don't have a mind as a human being, then you're kind of like not.
Well, my love,
really
what I'm
present.
suggesting is oneness right now is appearing as Michael and Anna having a conversation about it. When we feel separate, we follow teachers who say we have things like egos and minds or even brains. Yeah, those are still teachers within the dream of duality. It's all a self-fulfilling prophecy when one feels separate. Gurus appear, teachers appear, your beliefs will be confirmed in this beautiful mirror. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy until it's recognized beliefs aren't needed, and really nobody knows what this is. In fact, this doesn't either. This didn't reach something or attain something. Everything I thought I knew collapsed and died. And you're left with something so simple and so innocent, like these words ego don't even make sense anymore. In fact, even saying non-duality is rubbish because this cannot be defined. What you are, what we are can't be defined. We're speaking of a mystery. And I'm not saying there won't be knowing. Obviously, words appear. No one's choosing these words, though. It's just when we feel separate, we are so convinced that we know we have a mind and an ego, and there's a thing called enlightenment. All I can say was you were spoon-fed that. That's all.
Yeah, I agree with you, and we're not going to get a polemic on it. But the thing is that it's the experience of being in me. You can say there's no
Yeah,
mind
you're
and
sharing
all
your
that,
experience.
and
You're right. You're sharing the experience of duality right now. And I totally get it. It's uncomfortable. It feels contracted. Beliefs that are ingrained so deeply can have bodily sensations like the sense of unworthiness, the sense of I'm not there yet, the sense of this shouldn't be here. If you were taught for so long within the story of time that you shouldn't be like this or that or this or this is what life is like, this is how you should be, it can seem like it's kind of ingrained. And when one meets this yield, when one meets nothing, this message can be very either one, accepted naturally, or completely, fuck this. This doesn't make sense. And you're right, brother. It doesn't make logical sense. It only makes intuitive. I'm speaking to beingness. I'm speaking to that which is awake already. And it's either heard or it's not, you know?
okay.
Mm.
Listen, that's cool. And the state of meditation, all those sort of practices that people engage in to come to that sort of place of awareness, or you call
It's
it, it's not
therapy. It's
enlightenment.
emotion. Yeah, no, it's emotional therapy. Meditation is therapy. And when one feels separate, therapy makes absolute sense. This used to play in meditation, self-love therapy, psychology, you name it. I probably tried it. And brother, neurosis seemed to dwindle here. Confidence seemed to come alive. But you know what I had to do constantly? Meditate, mantra, micromanage, teachers. I always had to be self-aware, self-conscious, which one can seem to make confidence in an evolution of becoming less depressed or, you know, more a well-rounded being. But what was still intact here was the idea that I was in control. Time is real. And my emotional highs are a benchmark of my success. All of that dwindled and collapsed because no emotion can tell me who I am. No thought form and no sensation. Nothing can.
Yeah, no, and I agree. So, but are you in the state that you?
There is no
Not
state. I'm not
state,
in anything.
in the place. Okay, you're
I'm
feeling.
nowhere.
I know
And
there's no
you
feeling.
as well as you.
You're taking away all my words here.
Well, this is a world imprisoned by words, you see, and these words are not trying to teach you anything. These words actually hold an energy. And that energy is just what is. It doesn't need shit. It doesn't need to break down anything. It's already so free. Now, when we feel separate, we think freedom looks a certain way. It walks a certain way. It smells a certain way. This already is free. This is the garden. And the garden is diverse. There's weeds in gardens too, you know, and snakes and all kinds of cool stuff. But why would the human vessel be any different? This is diversity. This is freedom appearing as diversity already.
Hi, hi Anna.
Hi.
Yeah, I mean, hearing what I just heard is kind of giving me a few revelations about my question. But I was hoping you could maybe speak on the experience of life. I mean, I'm not here to vent at all, but just to give my situation. And I guess even talking about this is limiting myself to being instead of beingness. But like, I just came out of a relationship with a narcissist. So speaking and hearing on control is like all very, very obvious to me. So as soon as I noticed that that wasn't a space of growth, because I didn't know he was a narcissist, as soon as I noticed he was, I left. So I guess like even asking the question, how can I remain soft through heartbreak, is saying that there is such a thing as hard, but that is sort of the only way I can phrase it.
Yeah, you're good. And before I answer your question, Emerson, are you there, friend?
Yes, I am.
Can you see if someone's unmuted? It sounds like there's a deck of cards being shuffled in the background.
I muted it. I'm not sure what's
Oh, okay.
happening.
Thank you. Okay. I was just
yeah.
double checking.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So we think sometimes, like freedom looks a certain way. Freedom can appear as those challenges, like a breakup, and they can be very painful. Pain arises here and challenges and stress arise here. The misconception is if I was truly enlightened and liberated, narcissists wouldn't appear, right? Because narcissists mean I have a low vibration, maybe, or a blocked chakra, or maybe I did something in my past life and I'm learning now for it. I mean, talk about crap, and to make one feel like total shit. You know what I'm saying? There's no control in that. It's just what's arising, and same with the breaking up and then the mourning and the moving through all of that. That is life. There is no opposite to life, but it appears as these, apparent opposites, like assholes and narcissists and a sweet, sweet woman or whatever, and leaving that. All of that still appears. All of those challenges can still appear. What seems to drop is the idea that you did it, the shame, the guilt, the insecurity is what falls away from that. Yeah, but it doesn't mean there won't be pain or stress. It's met immediately. Everything is immediate and intimate, whether it's comfortable or uncomfortable. So let's say the breakup's over. There's no one sitting on the couch going, oh my God, why did I choose that? Was it me? Was it a past life? Like all of that's just zoom, and it's moving on and moving on, and whatever's arising and what's arising. Maybe there's some sadness that bleeps up, maybe some gratitude that's in there. I can't say, but there's no longer like the heady commentary of meaning and projection of why that arose, because this is not going to make sense and it's not believable. But even the narcissist is unconditional love. Yes. Because there is no opposite, there is no other. And that's why we look at that word unconditional. It's so free, it can appear as an asshole. It's so free, it can appear as Mother Teresa. But you've never done anything wrong. It's just what's happening.
The way I interpret that, or the way that I feel could be interpreted, though, is like if I feel that he is freedom, how do I tell myself to leave?
Oh, yeah. See, it won't make sense. If a mind is trying to apply this to their life, if the sense of separation is trying to take these words like advice or like a new application to life, it's not going to make sense. I'm not trying to help or teach or make sense of this, because it really doesn't make sense. But freedom doesn't look a certain way. Freedom appears as war. Everything already is in harmony. Everything. Go into the forest, go to the Serengeti. You will see violence, devourment, new life coming out of death. This already is that. And it's not going to make sense to what your mind has as the definition of freedom, my love.
Yeah.
It's beyond logic. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey.
Hi.
I think in the comments, Ray had asked if you could speak about death, and I also kind of was curious about that. Okay. And then I have a quick follow-up question depending on what appears.
Okay. Yeah. So the body dies. That can appear, but you could say this already is death because you weren't born. So ideas can die, beliefs can die, locations can seem to die, the body can seem to die. And maybe when it's time you are met with the death of the body, there could be fear. There could be, anything can arise, but it's from an immediacy. So all I can share is death doesn't arise here. Fear of death does not appear anymore. That left when seeking seemed to dissolve. But if someone came to me now and said, hey, you have 5 days to live. We found a massive tumor on your heart. There may be like oh shit, fuck. There could be some stuff going on in the body. I can't say though, because that's not arising. But fear of death is totally gone. This is death.
Right. But
Yeah.
So the body dies and the awareness, and then who knows what the awareness continues on as until that happens, till that moment in time happens.
Well, even the interest in that question is gone. Because think about it, the interest in an afterlife is for the one who believes they're here now. It's about living on. That's why past lives and are really alluring and attractive, because it's about somebody continuing on. So if I
how
die
do you
now, I'll
explain that?
go on to another
when
life or something. Yeah.
Right. Or so how, I guess, how do you explain that to your kids? Like as a mom, do you just say it's a mystery, I don't know?
Oh, I'm
Or-
very, it's just straight. I explain to my daughter, there's no death. It's just, this is very unorthodox. So, I mean, it just comes out, you know, we see dead birds on the ground if the cat ate it or something. And I explain to her the
Right.
body dies, you
Right.
know, and she'll go, oh, well, maybe it'll come back as a unicorn, Mom. I'm like, sure, girl, maybe. Yeah. You know, but I
Okay.
explained to her that we are energy for sure. Yeah.
Right. So it goes, okay. And okay. So then
She
her
gets it
speaking,
though.
right.
Yeah.
So her saying, I can come back as this, or I can come back as that,
or
you
the
neither
bird.
confirm or deny. You just say
No,
it
I'm
could
just like,
be.
maybe, baby. I say maybe, baby.
Right.
I don't know, you know? Yeah. But I tell her we're energy and that we actually don't die. Yeah. The
Right.
things will, yeah. Yeah. It's obviously very simple. She's 6 and my youngest is 1. So yeah.
Yeah, mine seems to still, I don't know, struggle with that. So I'm just curious.
Oh, well, and it's not
yeah,
that
how
anyone
yours-
needs to get it. It's, you know, if she comes to me with a question, then there's a response. Otherwise, this does not hover and teach in that
Right.
way.
And
If that makes sense. Yeah.
For her, it seems to appear often. That question appears. So
Well, if like
yeah,
if she sees
curious.
a dead animal or something, yeah, the question may pop up again. And there may be sadness too. She might have a little sadness about it, you know, and I tell her sadness belongs, sister. It's okay.
sure.
It's cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hmm.
And I don't know if Ray had a follow-up for that. That was his
Yeah,
question
sorry, I didn't see
initially,
I don't see the chats very as
That's
quickly.
okay.
So yeah, thanks for telling me though. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you much.
Mm-hmm.
Jits.
Hello, Anna.
Go ahead,
Can you-
please.
Hi. Hey.
Hi. This is the first time, but it's great to be here.
Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, there were several things. One, of course, was about the kids. I have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old myself. So yeah, and there was talked about telling her the other day, yeah, that we don't really, well, the body dies, you don't die. And she sort of accepted it, and then I go, how can I, oh, and I said to her, oh, you know, but we're made of stardust, really. The body's made of, everything's made of stardust. And so, and I didn't really know if that was true or not true, but I heard it somewhere. But she didn't ask any further, so.
Beautiful.
Thanks. Anyway, I was just wondering, like, what you say to your kids, like, generally, how to, yeah. I guess
Well, I got to say this. So first off, when we feel there's a right or wrong way to parent, then that's when we lean into each other and we go, okay, well, how are you talking to them about this? And then there's that kind of comparison, which obviously can kind of strip the authenticity, which may come out of that. You see what I'm saying here? There is no final truth and there's no right or wrong way. Everything is poetry in a way, we could say. And so there isn't anyone here choosing the right words to say to my daughter, Luna. It just comes out. It's just a natural response. So it's hard to explain, but there's not that stickiness of like, oh my God, did I just totally ruin her life by just telling her some garbage or something? Like, you know what I mean? It's just, it just
Yes.
comes, yeah, I can't explain it. It's just very natural.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. No right or wrong way to describe it because it really can't be described.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And then I had another thing. It was I just remember as a child, grew up with a very absent parent, and I just sort of I just developed a method of being present. I remember that I always when thoughts came, I was like, go away, thought, go away, go away, go away, go away. So, and this was something I reflected on later on. It's not that it just became very normal for me not to think, but to be in a state of presence, whatever.
No, I get you. Yeah.
Okay. So, and then I look at, as I grew and teenage years and all, I looked at friends and everyone else, and I understood that they were somehow troubled always with this and that, and questions of this and that, and why did you, and I could never really answer why I did one thing or didn't do or anything, but just thought there was a difference. That was just more peaceful, if I could put it that way. And then, well, then life happened, and I felt really bad for a long time. And I said to myself, okay, I got to do what the other people are doing. They seem to have agendas, and they have questions, and they investigate, do a lot of stuff with their minds at least. And I thought, I gotta do that, then I'll be happy and all. And so I started doing that, and trained myself in doing that, and that's been a lot of years now like that. And well, lately I'm trying to get out of it again. Since I've learned a lot about psychology and how things, my own things, how mental stuff, a lot of my own mental stuff. And I just feel like now it's returning the drive for, I don't perhaps need as much all of that questioning and researching and what is this and all of that. And I remember how it felt. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like being a kid again in a way. It becomes very simple, very immediate, very direct. And with kids, they can cry. With kids, they can get upset. With kids, they have preferences. Yeah. It's very much like that. Moving through emotions, moving through whatever is arising, but without clinging to the past, without clinging to the future expectations or projections, or even labeling what is so heavily. I mean, everything's just met innocently, you could say. Every emotion is met innocently. The thoughts are met innocently. And the characters that appear in your little dream world are met innocently. And when I say innocently, that means there could be anger. There could be disapproval. There could be disagreement. And that's love. That's unconditional love. It's like being a kid.
Right. Thank you. So that sort of in that time that has passed was just, why was it this? It was, I don't maybe
it seemed to pass. It didn't actually happen. I mean, really, this is it. There really is no past. As you share the past, it's arising in and as this as a memory, but the memory is oneness, plain as an optical illusion, that there really was a heavy past that led you to this. In fact, you were born right here, right now, in a way. Like everything's constantly refreshed, renewed, refreshed, renewed. You know, unless you ask someone who thinks they have a mind, then it's not, you know, but really, you know, it's ever fresh, evergreen. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, there really is no past. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, Anna.
Hey. Yeah. Hi,
Oh my
Yvonne.
God. Hey, I'm so excited. This is my first time, but I cannot express you. I'm so happy to be part of this group.
Yeah,
And
welcome.
oh my God, I'm thinking about my question, but after listening, everybody is happening. It's like my question. Where is my question?
Where'd it go?
It's like where did it go? But you know why? I come to the conclusion that for us, well, I don't know if you can later mention something about collective consciousness. It's so hard for us to believe that everything is that simple. We always, and I say, Yvonne, I'm going to tell you the truth. Everything I have a situation, I run to one of the videos because you give me that messages go so deep inside me. Like, oh my God, that's the truth. But at the same time, you know, I don't know if I can call this my mind or collective mind, or I don't know what to, because, you know, the play of words, like you say, is so hard. But and then comes, I feel like I'm running out of my responsibilities, and you just want to leave everything to nature or to divine, or you don't have nothing to choose. You have so much to choose. Oh my God. And then my hair. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I get you. And it can feel like the space in between, right? But it's nothing changes. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. They're really suggesting there's not going to be a change. So the roles, whatever appears there as Yvonne's roles, still goes on. Yeah, maybe more beautifully, maybe a little not, I can't say. But what seems to drop is the idea of, this role needs to get out of the way before I can be enlightened. You need to get out of the way before I can get enlightened. I need to get out of the way before I can be enlightened. Well, guess what? The I is the one, so nothing will get out of the way before you're enlightened. This already is enlightenment.
That is unbelievable to know that everything is.
You can't believe it, really. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
It's
it
beyond
has to
belief.
really
It's
be.
beyond belief. Yeah.
It's beyond belief. And sometimes you say, no, I don't want to start thinking about it because this is not for the mind. And,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
But even thoughts can appear. Thoughts appear here. Totally. But the chewing of enlightenment's totally over. The chewing of if I'm divine is totally over. Of course. There is only that.
And
It's
what
just,
about
you know,
that-
we tend to have qualities, right? It tends to have a certain quality that we're taught it has.
Yes.
Mhm.
And what about the collective consciousness?
Okay.
Not
Yeah.
the
So
individual. Well, individual represented by our own bodies, but they say about collective.
the only way I can see how you're saying collective consciousness is just this, what's appearing here is oneness. And like a rainbow, the hues of that rainbow are really, they're not there. So this really isn't here. It only appears to be. This is the rainbow. We are the rainbow. But like a rainbow, again, it's not really in the sky. It's an effect of a white light hitting a prism. So this all only seems to be. When we feel separate, though, we go, oh, there's this thing called the collective consciousness, which really, when we hear that or feel it, it feels kind of separative and heavy. There's really others out there. All I can say from collective is that this is inclusive, that all of this is oneness appearing as the thought forms of Yvonne, the thought forms of Anna, or the body of Anna, the body of Yvonne. But it's really all just unconditional love appearing. And this doesn't end. This play doesn't end of two-ness. The play goes on. Because it takes two to tango, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Thanks a lot. And
Yeah.
happy
Yeah.
to be in, I'm very happy you be in my journey, or can I say my
Oh,
journey? Yeah, right?
the gratitude's mutual. Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, Anna.
Go ahead, Beata. Oh, sorry. I have a queue of. Sorry. Go ahead, Beata.
Oh, she's muted. You're muted.
Okay, is it working now?
I hear you. Hi.
I hear you.
What's up, girl?
Okay, great,
What's up, girl?
great. All good, yeah. Since hearing this message, it has been like a, well, it seems like it has been like a very, very slow, painfully slow, like melting, or like resistance is like dissolving or something. I don't know. And it's so obvious that, of course, this is it. Like, what else? Like, what else? This is it. But somehow there's still this like small, very subtle restlessness in the body, and it feels like little, like something's waiting for like some relaxation, but there's no one to have any relaxation. Anyway.
What's wrong with restlessness?
Nothing's wrong. I don't know. It's maybe just I'm just.
We have another
fantasizing.
idea that we shouldn't be restless.
Yes.
Yeah. What if that character is just high energy? But you were told you should relax.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine if someone told a cheetah to not run. What would that be like? We're talking about something that's so organic and authentic that we can't teach this. And I like to use the garden example because imagine if the tomatoes try to teach the sunflower. Yeah. Imagine if the sunflower try to teach the green beans. It doesn't work. But that's what you could say the play of human tries to do. Let's all be the same. This is what it looks like. This is what it walks like. This is what it talks like. But we're talking about something that's like a forest. It is so wild and untamed. It's appearing as, well, all these beautiful faces and names, or sometimes not so beautiful faces and names. I mean, that's the beauty of this freedom. Yeah. Even resistance and restlessness. And whoa, I got a lot of energy. Like I could run 5 miles right now. Then go run 5 miles. Epic. Freedom running 5 miles. Run, Forrest, run. Yeah, there's nothing that needs to change. It's just when we live in the dream of separation, it's always, I need to be different, like more relaxation. And I heard that too. And it's always trying to be relaxed and still and calm and statuesque, which obviously is not natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it do make sense that the body would be like more relaxed because the seeking energy is quite
Well, mind stuff dissolves. So if the body was hyped up due to mind stuff, like beliefs of I need to be doing more, sure, there can be a relaxation. But if the character's naturally very energetic, this one is, then that's the dynamic of the character. Some characters are very slow and reserved and lazy, and that's their character, like a sloth. Comparison's the thief of joy, though. Yeah, I mean, all I can say is obviously mental beliefs that are charged dissolve, which can obviously have an effect on the apparent body. But if the character's hyper, the character's hyper. That's just what it is. And that will still shine. That will still rock out. You know what I'm saying? But without the guilt, shame, and insecurity that you should not be hyper. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Jonathan.
Hey, Anna, how's it going?
Hi, Jonathan. It's going well.
Hey, love the work that's rising on your channel. Very cool.
Oh, thanks, friend. Thank you.
Glad to be part of this group. It's kind of hard to find people that are interested in talking about non-duality around here.
No, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, question was arising over here, and I kind of first became aware of non-duality or the self-illusion by asking the question, who am I, or why am I, why does this conscious experience seem to be centered in this particular organism? And then kind of struggling with that for a couple of years and realizing it's a flawed question because that presupposes a self, right? And so from there, I kind of got into exploring different viewpoints of non-duality and just wanted to get your opinion on whether like these two different viewpoints are kind of talking about the same thing ultimately. And the first one might be described as kind of what I hear more you talking about, that there's an underlying substrate of reality that we're all part of, sort of the play analogy, reality as a play. And then I've heard, in terms of the observer as the observed, subject-object non-duality is kind of described as that the subject and object are both part of phenomenal conscious experience. And we can't really know anything about objects in and of themselves outside of conscious experience. So in that way, there's a non-duality description of that sort of phenomenon. And so I guess the question is, are these two describing the same experience? Are they any way related?
I get what you're saying. So it seems like one description is kind of like of the dream of self-consciousness, where everything is a self-fulfilling prophecy, where you can have the experience of objects being separate from you. Like, for example, if someone feels completely unworthy, their atmosphere seems to be unworthiness, and everything confirms that. So it seems like when one is separate, everything confirms those little hidden beliefs or stories. Now, when beliefs dissolve, there's no longer that codependence with what we're calling the external and needing to objectify everything. Mm-hmm. Like it's unknown. Like the wall, we still use, like, we're calling it a wall, but really it's the unknown appearing as that. So everything really has a wonder to it. It's very simple. It's not like that heady kind of where everything's compartmentalized and separate and means something. It's always projected when there's a person, and when there's no person, everything it's really unknowable, but there's still knowing that arises with the words and all of that. But really at the root of everything, it's completely unknowable. And that's why there's joy. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So it seems like these sort of two perspectives are kind of compatible. And
you could say we can go to like a Vesica Pisces, where there's always a silver lining or something that meets, what I'm saying, because there is only beingness. So everything is included. Beingness will sometimes just play in the idea of objectifying or labeling and projecting until that seems to dissolve.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really, because there's no same. And here too, it's seen that everything's the absolute. So nothing needs to change, just like a kid that wants to pretend to be an astronaut or something. Cool.
Yeah. And the divisions are sort of artificial and abstract. The more you name something or
but we still use names, right? Like this still answers to Anna, and I know my phone number and things like that. It's a mystery though of how that arises. It's fascinating, really, because the person really is just a purse of beliefs that kind of hovers like a cloud of pinpointing everything to itself as a reference. And that just seems to dissolve because really nobody knows what this is. And we can hear that both ways as a paradox. Nobody knows what this is. It's just intuitive. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Anna.
Yeah, thank you. Shay, you want to go?
Hi, Anna. How you doing?
Hey, good. How are you doing?
I miss you so much on Instagram. It is boring without your videos.
It's been a bit, hasn't it? Yeah.
Anna, I'm in a weird transition. So I'm into plant medicine. So I serve cacao, I do Reiki, and I do all the spiritual coaching, right? And with my evolution or understanding to what is plant medicine opened up that avenue for me. But moving deeper into the space, I realized that everything is perfect. It's divine, right? And me being in the space of teaching or coaching or doing Reiki energy work is like it was like this thing where it was like I was making people believe that they're less than what they are, which isn't true, in order to sell what it is I was offering, right? So there was a point where I got to a point where I was like, it's all bullshit, because everything is beautiful, regardless of how good or how bad it is, it's still divine. I'm still doing this work, right? But my belief system is collapsing, and suffering is coming through that, where I don't know who I am or who Shay is or the role she's playing in this cosmic play. And I know you were into this before you started doing what you're doing now. And I just would like some guidance as to how much smoother I can make my transition into what is happening.
Well, first off, I can't give advice because you're not in control now. There's no choice. There wasn't any choice for the spiritual stuff to drop here either, sister. And innately, though, there was something that knew that there was a lot of bullshit with it, but there was still the doing it because of that conditioning. But there wasn't any choice of that collapse. And it was painful, sister. And sometimes we try to really, when we feel separate, we're trying to save ourselves from pain. But life, pain and pleasure are not separate. To have a name and a body, there is going to be pain and there's going to be pleasure, sister. But there's a joy in that. There's something that's beyond those highs and lows. And I'm not going to say it's going to be uncomfortable as beliefs fall away. It really feels like you're coming off a drug, like a withdrawal period. Okay. That's what arose here. And I'm not going to say that's going to arise for you, because that would just be an expectation. But yeah, when beliefs dissolve, it can seem like there's a reorientation. But even though it may appear bumpy, just like, rivers that got to turn into a new way, it always finds a way. So I can't say what's going to unfold for you, sister, but it'll either carry on or it won't, but obviously if it's not authentic anymore, you know what I mean? Yeah. We'll see what happens, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Anna.
Yeah. You too.
Jürgen.
Hello, Anna. Hello,
Hi.
Emerson. Hello, you
Hi.
all.
Hi.
Yes, I realized in non-duality circles there is a lot of talking about the false self and the true self. But Anna, with you, I never heard the term true self and false self. So can you comment on this? What you think about the true self and the false self?
Well, automatically your question assumes that there's two, and that there's a better or worse, which only comes out of the hell of duality.
Well, but it said that the false self is illusion and the true self is real.
What is real? Nothing's real.
So there's only one real self and
nothing's
one
real.
Illusory self.
Nothing's real. And that's a paradox. This is nothing appearing real.
Yes.
But to say there's a true self is very, it's kind of, it can be very dogmatic. Like there's a higher self, and the one that you are right now is gross. So you need to get to that higher self, because right now I don't like this. I'm being silly. But what I'm saying is there is only, you could just say the self, oneness, beingness.
Yes.
You see? Yeah. But it's a new way of thinking. There's a heaven and a hell, a lower and a higher. And what we're saying here is all of those things are illusory. They only seem to be. There is only beingness, appearing as a schmuck or not. There's no other. Yeah.
I totally agree with you, because with beingness, we don't say there is higher beingness and lower beingness. There's only beingness. So if we use this term self, there is no sense in in creating a higher self and a lower self. So
yeah, it's just a dream. It's just
sense
a, yeah.
for me.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, really. I mean, it does for some, obviously, it does make sense for some, right? But when it's seen that those are just beliefs and stories, it doesn't make any sense anymore. It doesn't make sense to the simplicity because it takes you away from this. It takes you away from breath because it's a distraction. Because right now, this isn't good enough. Right now, you're not it.
Yes.
Yeah. And all I can confirm is you are. Yeah, this is it. Yeah.
Well, you must be aware that in these circles, you and Emerson and a lot of other speakers are named bogus non-duality speakers or neo-Advaita, I have heard. And they say it's too simple. They make it too simple. You have to make big effort and long work and cleaning your past and everything.
Yeah, you need to shave your head and stand on your head for 5 days before you can reach this state, for sure. Yes. Yeah. You better get started.
Yes.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to see you. Emerson, we can do another question if you want.
We can do another question?
One more.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do another one.
Hush, go ahead.
Hello, Anna. Thank you for having us today and giving us this opportunity to talk to you and to connect. My question is more like, let me structure it. For example, how do you explain this to somebody who is stuck in their mental cage, like most of us have been living in the company of their minds most of our lives. And it's like we're stuck in our 3D world, and you're trying to explain that from a 5D world, which for us is kind of hard to grasp.
How about no world? Let's take out the 3 and the 5 and the world, and let's just say just this, brother. 3D and 5D still a story of separation, right? There's different dimensions. There's actually no dimensions. This is dimensionless. But I don't speak to people. You could say it's life speaking to itself, and life knows what to say to itself because it doesn't live in boxing concepts. And sometimes what life needs to say to itself can be very coarse and very intense and passionate. Sometimes it can be very soft and loving and gentle. But when there is an apparent mind or belief system present, it goes, oh, be compassionate, because that's what I was told to be. Oh, be nice to everybody. That's what I was told to be. So there's always kind of a gauge of how you should show up. When there is no longer beliefs or dogmatics appearing, it's the fullness of life appearing, and it can be very just whatever it is, coarse or soft, because life only knows what to say to itself, because this is life. We're not separate, friend.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Thank you for your answer.
Yeah, thank you. All right.
Thank you so much, Anna. That was epic. Thank you so much, everyone. Join Anna this weekend for a 2-day event. And bye, Anna. It's at wonderfullynothing.com.
Yep. Bye, guys.
Bye,
Thank you, guys.
Anna. God
Take
bless.
care.